The parole board voted unanimously to consider the brain development and decision-making of a minor serving a maximum sentence of life for a crime committed prior to age 18. According to the proposed regulations, the board would place great weight on the minor offender's characteristics when making parole release decisions.
I believe that the pendulum is swinging even further away. I have proposed a series of parole reform package bills to actually come to a more middle ground to hold our parole board a little bit more accountable.
Assemblyman Pat Kuczynski prefers changes based on public safety, but the parole board voted to consider that minor offender's characteristics and how an individual's youth impacted the offense, also prior conflicts with the law, institutional behavior, subsequent rehabilitation, and then meaningfully weigh applicable minor offender characteristics in favor of release when determining whether the standard for release is satisfied. All of this will be used in the parole board's decision on whether or not to release a person.
This would only include your 16, 17-year-old offenders that were sentenced to life. And, in my mind, if you're 16 or 17 years old and you're sentenced to that sentence, you probably committed either a murder or something very heinous or serious.
It remains to be seen if this new change will result in more or less people being released from state prisons.
I believe we need to, instead of being focused on the offender and whether or not they're rehabilitated, we need to look at the impact that this crime had on the victim and the victim's families.
Well, the assemblyman tells me that he wants to see the parole board reformed. He thinks policy decisions like this should be at the legislative level.